planet.
On point to 1 FM Uyo. It's football time here at the frequency. We'll take a look at the big breaking and, of course, trending football stories from Nigeria, Africa, and, of course, across the Atlantic. And on the places afternoon, we'll look at the Bayelsa Queens campaign at the continent of Africa. They've arrived in Morocco ahead of the CAF Women's Champions League. We'll look at their chances in a bit. And also look ahead at the Flamingos' clash against Colombia as the semi-final resumes hostilities tomorrow at the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in India. About World Cups now. Well, we're still a few weeks away from the FIFA World Cup in Qatar later this year, but some national teams are already busy and are getting clear indication of what the hope will be with regards to their playing squad. We'll talk about the Netherlands national team and the massive omission that has gotten many football fans talking this particular afternoon. We'll talk about the UEFA Champions League as well. Unai Emery appointed as Villa manager and a lot more. Well, this young star plays for Arsenal of Nigerian descent, also eligible to play for the Three Lions of England. But country reports is very open to playing for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. We'll tell you about his name in a bit. Energized always to return here on this frequency alongside Marizona. Solorex is back in the building as well. Likewise, Emmanuel Edet. Blind Kim should be a part of this conversation as we get into real football talk. Do down 090-222-31011 027-624-8565. On the Planet 101 FM Sport page, go right there underneath the post published. Drop a comment. We'll take them every step of the way. Welcome officially. About Nigerian champions Bayelsa Queens arriving Casablanca, Morocco yesterday ahead of the Women's Champions League 2023. The Restoration Girls are already launched at the Center Village Sports in Casablanca. Damo Okara's side will continue their preparations for the competition, which kicks off this particular weekend. Bayelsa Queens confront defending champions Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa. Their first game on Sunday at the Stade Grand de Marrakesh. And of course, after that, Nigerian girls face Tipa Mazembe of Congo Democratic Republic in their second group game 3 days later. The final group game will be against Egypt's Wadi Dagla at the Stade Prince Rethia Rabat on the 6th of November. The top two teams in the group proceed to the semi-finals. Remember, as announced by CAF a couple of days ago, the winner of the competition smiled home with $400,000 whooping dollars, while the runner-up will earn $250,000. The two losing semi-finalists get $200,000 each. So, anyway you look, there's real money waiting.
Definitely, Bright. I'm expecting something, quite worthy of note from the Bayelsa Queens ladies. They've been, one of the best female teams in the country, despite, the poor management of our Nigerian Women's Football League. They've always produced quality, and they've been, consistent feeders, for the Falcons team. If you look at it over the past couple of years, Bayelsa Queens, FC Rebel Queens, and a few other teams are there. As teams basically where you can scout quality players for the Falcons team, the Falconet team, and even players that would leave the shores of the country to the abroad. So I'm expecting a good performance from them. They were the best team, arguably, last season in the NWFL. Went on through the playoffs to win the championship, and I'm expecting good performance from them. They've got the best motivation from the state governor, and of course, now that CAF has promised so much money, depending on where you edit the competition. I like the fact that they're facing defending champions of the first edition, Mamelodi Sundowns first. It reminds me of the surgeon of the Flamingos. They faced Germany first, toughest opponent in the first group, before they went on to face some more less fancied opponents. You face Mamelodi Sundowns first, probably get a draw in that particular game. Even if you lose, you can pick yourself back up against the TP Mazembe ladies, who are also debutants in this competition. And then you play your final group game against Wadi Degla. It's quite a fairly open group, if you'd ask me, Brighton. I think all four teams have got a chance of qualifying. Yes, the Sundown ladies might be a bit favourites based on the fact that they won the first edition of this competition last season. But I think Bayelsa Queens have got quality. I'm looking forward to seeing how they manage this game. How they put a fine performance, because it'll boil down to game management. It'll boil down to how good you can be. So I'm expecting that kind of performance from them. But I think that they have a chance, and a big chance, of qualifying for the next round of competition.
So let's step it up. Talk about the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup currently up and running in India. Now, Flamengo's defender, Miracle Oseni, is confident the team will beat Colombia in the semi-final encounter at the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. The Nigerian girls face the South Americans in the semi-final encounter at the Pandey Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in Goa on Wednesday. Now, the encounter will start by 12 noon. We're talking Nigerian time. Now, the headline really caught my attention. She said, and I quote, "The Flamingos can beat any team." But the journey begins later tomorrow, one game away from landing at the finals of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. Well, the semi-finals, they haven't reached here before, but this is a new territory for them. And of course, could take it a step higher if they beat Colombia later tomorrow to reach the finals. Can they?
Brett, first off, I'll start with the iconic celebration of the manager. Saluting, if you're watching, live, you'll see the celebration as well. But Brett, aside from that, first off, you can't stop a moving train. The girls, they are flying high, They're coming out to say no one they can beat anyone. They failed to win Germany in that particular game, right? Going to this particular tournament, reaching this tournament for the first time, I think, it gives some, hopes to the players, some momentum building to this particular game, that they can go as far as they want to go in this particular competition. Go all out, give your best, give your all in all, try to do the basics and winning the ball. Also, take the games to your opponent, to the Colombians. The last time we played them was back in 2014, and we won them in both legs as well, same competition. So I think the girls, they have all what it takes to go into this particular game and try to kill the game and win the game and bring the victory back home as well.
Now, Blighty, let's talk about this clash still. Now, many would say the confidence with which Miracle Osani is talking now stems from the unthinkable becoming a reality, that 4-3 penalty win at the quarterfinal stage against United States of America. Talk to us about the caliber of the opponents we're facing here in Colombia and exactly what the ladies, the girls here need to do to reach a territory many say is an uncharted territory for them.
Well, big game it is. Big game it will be for the girls. But look at Colombia. not a bad side at all. Though based on pedigree, you always set Nigeria ahead of Colombia when it has to do with women's football. And at age grade competition, you always stick to that pedigree formula because it's so difficult for your opponent that's not been here, that's not developed the women's game from a national level to really perform wonders when it has to do with under 17. But looking at Colombia particularly, they've been solid. When you look at the group stages, they've been able to beat the likes of China. China is a powerhouse when it has to do with women's football, though it's under 17. They've beat other teams, and at the quarterfinal stage, they were able to beat Tanzania. Not just beat Tanzania, but it was a resounding 3-0 victory. So that speaks volume. I watch the girls play, talking about the Colombians, and they have some physicality to that game, able to match the Flamingos. But I believe the patience of the Flamingos, because coming off a huge win from the game they played against the US side, it took a lot of patience for them to get that win, conquer against the US side. That patience and tenacity that I saw would see them through. Pedigree, Nigeria has advantage over Colombia. With resilience that we saw, they should move ahead and get the win in this one. It's up for the girls to take, but it's not going to be a cheap match.
No, not going to be a cheap match in any way. If you look at this one now, Emma, have you got fears ahead of tomorrow's fixture by 12 noon?
Absolutely, there is nothing to fear because looking at these girls, they started on a very low tempo. Though they played well, but they couldn't grab that victory against Germany. But they showed class in that encounter. And since then, they have been improving by every game. And going past quarterfinal, something that they have not done before. I think going into this particular game, they have nothing to fear because nobody really gave them a chance to go past USA. Looking at how sophisticated United States ladies are when it comes to football, but they were able to put them away and move to the semi-finals. And with the presence of the football heavyweights in the country, also dropping down in India to also extend and drum support to them, I think that should also serve as a very good booster and encouragement to them going into this particular fixture.
All right, now that heavyweight in my talking about will be led by the new NFM president who talking about the man Ibrahim Musa Gusau, who will touch down in Goa. We've continued to trail the FIFA Women's World Cup draws ahead of the Mundial set for Australia, New Zealand, and the former skipper, and of course the biggest name on the team sheet to talk about the Super Falcons of Nigeria, Africa's women's reigning player of the year. As that's what Shola said, well, that Super Falcons group is okay. It's then we better trust it's okay. Yeah. About the Super Eagles of Nigeria, yes, they won't be at the World Cup, but it's a rebuilding process, and this interview would be a fascinating one. England under-21 striker Folarin Balogun is of Nigerian descent. According to the interview, sat with Luashina Okeleji of the BBC, and we talk about how he looks forward to playing for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. She's got me wondering, this is how attractive the Super Eagles is these days. Mari, we've attracted quite some names. Yeah, we have. We have. Very recently, talked about Ademola Lookman. Yeah. Playing for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Yeah. And now Folarin Balogun is already relishing the opportunity of getting a first senior national team call-up to join up with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. How would that be?
Yeah, but I like the fact that you're painting it, making it look very attractive and very nice. It's good.
But if it weren't attractive, then,
Right, I think, here's what I think. I think that this players decided to play for the country when they realized that they don't have a hope with the English national team. Sure. That was what happened with Lookman. He still was waiting for them all through the World Cup. They didn't call him. And then he played a few games for them, not competitive games, and had to switch allegiance and get to play for Nigeria. So for Folarin Balogun, he's already done the progresses on himself and his performance, and then places himself side by side in the great list of English attackers, and he knows he has no chance, right? So that's why he's saying, well, Well, there's a Balogun in my name. There's Folarin in my name. Yes, I was born in the
There's a Balogun in the national team.
Yes, I was born in the UK, but I'm Balogun. So if I say Nigeria I want to play for Nigeria, they'll definitely come for me. So that's the story. He'd be a good addition to the national team, right? So, but I don't think it's basically because he chose a country. Just a few people have decided to choose a country over time.
No. Nigeria for him.
Yeah.
Now let's look at something blinding. Now we're making it sound as though it's a second option. So I can't play for the English national team, but I've got a chance playing for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. But let's look at this. The lad we're talking about is under 21.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so not like he's had that chance. He's had the peak moment, and he's been shunned, unlike many others. You go back to John Fashional, we talk about Charlton Cole, Gabi Agwanlao. He took a late intervention in 2010 to get Shola Moebi to play national team football and ultimately play at the World Cup as well. It's a long list, but he's young. He's a part of the England setup, under 21, and he's one of those big names in that team shit. So wanting to play for the Nigerian national team, even when he's getting the attention, at the under 21 level, you think it's down to mentality and the quality or lack of competition, as Mari has alleged.
Well, I wouldn't want to say that. Look, for me, representing a country, it's all about you, all about how cultured you are, where you feel you belong to. It's basically that. The man might feel he's a Nigerian, so he represents Nigeria. I was listening to Mari talk about it. In Super Eagles, there's massive competition, especially up front. Come on, don't they come to Nigeria if you're an attacking player? There's certain Victor Osimhen there. There's Paul Onocho there. There's so many arrays of names, Kelechi Iheanacho and the rest there. Come on, it could be serious playing. And when a team used to be called Green Eagles and they become Super Eagles, it speaks volume. Look, let me tell you something, Mari, about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. If you go through Africa and look at a branded team, you want a team with the best quality of brand. It always has to be the Super Eagles of Nigeria. You want to go through history. You see how to connect with arrays of stars we've had over the years is the Super Eagles of Nigeria. If you want to play for the Super Eagles Nigeria, fine. He's going to face stiff competition. There's quality on the side. Yes, I understand in terms of organization, we're not the best when it has to do with it. But when it has to do with quality within, and talent and representation, no fans does it like the Super Eagles fans.
Yeah, because Solorix, Marius is trying to sound like he walks into a national team and gets a warm handshake, and then he's given the number 9 to go start games. We've got Victor Osimhen, right? Yeah. Now it's a top marksman, not just here in Nigeria. Look at the exploit what he's doing in Italy as we speak, and we know the kind of interest is attracted over the last transfer windows. We've got Paul Onuachu. We've got Terence Murphy. He's one of the top scorers in the French Ligue 1. We've got Cyril Desas as well. And we've got Emmanuel Dennis. He plays centre forward as well. And then, now we've got Taiwo Uni, banged the winner against Liverpool over the weekend.
That led the investors crying.
Yeah. And then talk about England. Okay, let's talk about this almighty England. Yeah. Harry Kane. And then behind Harry Kane, who?
Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
It's not even there. We're talking Tammy Abraham. We're even talking Ivan Toney.
Yeah.
So that's how open it is. So it's about what you play. So for Folarin Balogun has got a chance of making the national team as much as, Tammy Abraham has got or Ivan Toney has got very recently. Let's look at it statistically. Now, he scored his 7th goal for the Young Lions. We're talking the under 21 in a 3-1 friendly win over Germany just in September. So it's one of those guys, Gary Saga will be looking at one eye and say, well, I look at this lad, he's got real quality. Could be playing the national team even next year. So why are we making it sound like, he just walks in there,
right.
It does.
I also Rex to reply before I see what I want to say.
I will tilt with what Maria just said because it's very crystal. Bright African football in the recent years has been a dumping ground for players who don't feel comfortable playing for your national team as well. And looking Bright, Tammy Abraham, he was on form for Roma last season, and up till today, he's yet to play in competitive game for England. It's about who the manager trusts. Looking at the 3 Lions, the manager trusts Harry Kane. If you trust a player, he will definitely do the business for you, even when he's not in form. And that's what the manager has been sticking to.
Yeah,
playing at the club level is different from playing for the national team.
Is Harry Kane not informed? Tell me, an England striker is more informed than Harry Kane.
Right, during the Nations League, England didn't score from an open play goal.
No, I'm talking now, because that's England's number 1 striker.
Even last season, he wasn't on form. Tammy Abraham scored more goals than him, before Harry Kane picked up his form.
Right, here's the
but
point.
He didn't start for the national team.
Here's the point. I believe there's no smoke without fire, right? So, for Laurent Balogun, I believe he must have had conversations with some people in the setup of the English national team, and then he's realized that there's basically no chance for him. He's in France.
It doesn't make sense.
Not chance.
Now,
Yeah, I understand that.
Emmanuel.
Yeah.
I don't know if it makes sense. Well, Zoriksen and Marizon are saying, well, this guy knows he hasn't got a chance with the national team in England. When we've sat here, we mentioned names, and we've pinpointed the fact that
Saka is not English.
now we've talked about the fact that outside Harry Kane, there's no permanent striker on that England team list because Gareth Southgate can play, Raheem Sterling there can play, Jadon Sancho. So if you've got
it even gets interesting because I was going there. Southgate basically doesn't prioritize having an international striker in the team.
But
now looking for Laurent Balogun, where does he stand?
No.
In the pecking order of where does he stand? I like the way he stands. Where does Balogun stand in the pecking order of attackers in English national team?
This thing
I could name 15.
Now
I put Balogun.
Now this thing is getting interesting.
That's the truth.
It's getting interesting because before Bukayo Saka broke into the national team in England, we're talking, he won't play. It will be another Charlton Cole story. It would be another Gabi Agbonlao. Well, he's black. Haven't you seen the lad? But he's performing. Can you tell me of an English winger more in form than Bukayo Saka right now? But that form was translated to the national team. Yeah? So he's playing for the national team because he's the best winger they've got at the moment. For Laurent Balogun, he scored how many? 5-6 goals on loan at Reims. So now it's about what you do at the moment and not really about whether you're black or not. You think Laurent Balogun has got, if he continues his way, has got a shot at the national team in England?
Well, I think the only thing, in my own perspective, in my own point of view, it boils down to the individual concern because it's all about your performance. It's all about what you want, and what entails to get into a particular platform that you are eyeing. If you want to play for Nigeria, you know how the national team is, and you have to play up to the standards that you will come in, and you will be picked as the talisman. And you also look at how England is. As you've talked about Bukayo Saka, when he was on the verge of going into the national team of England, nobody really gave him a chance. But look at him today. I think he has been the marksman when it comes to the wing play. But on the other hand, it also boils down to the fact that you are playing well and your style of play suits into the conformity of what the coach wants, what the coach of a particular national team that you are going to wants. But as far as Balogun is concerned, I think if he plays well and the coach likes his style of play, I think he can definitely break into the team.
Right. This was why, Saka came into the national team. He's a left-footed player. And what the English national team, have been lacking in recent years, have been a player, who is a left-footed. And apart from that, Saka in Arsenal, the team was built around him. There was a time if Saka doesn't score, Arsenal won't pick 3 points. Arsenal won't even pick up a point. Right, aside from that, Arsenal.
No. Just to even add, Saka didn't get into the English national team as a winger himself. He got in as a midfielder. I remember the first time he played as a midfielder because of the injury concerns back then with the English national team. So looking at Laurent Balogun, we're talking about, the attacking options at the English national team and the preferences of Gareth Southgate, right? So I'm looking at players who Southgate has basically preferred over time, right? There's Harry Kane there, like he's talked about. There's Jadon Sancho who gets called up. Even Phil Foden gets called up, right? Irrespective of how he performs. Oli Watkins at Aston Villa gets called up. Normally, in all of this, there's Laurent Balogun around. He's
Blyden.
Southgate has never thought. And all of that. There's Jarrod Bowen.
Solorix and Marizona, or the beating around. But at the end of it, I think they've alluded to exactly what we've been saying, which is it's about form. It's about what you play. Because now you've talked about Oli Watkins. Is he a mainstay in the national team? Is he? No, I'm asking. Is he a mainstay in the national team?
No, he's not.
Why?
Definitely
Why?
not. Performance-based, right?
The Bukayo Saka we're talking about.
Here's my point. My point is basically, this man has done a prognosis, right? And then he's realized that he doesn't have a shot at the national team.
How can you say the man has done a prognosis for a young player who is growing?
Here's the problem I have with Mari. It's like a man saying, I want to be called a certain name, and you say, why want to be called a certain name? For me, it doesn't make sense. A man says, I love the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I want to play for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And you're beginning to say, he wants to play for the Super Eagles because of this, because there's no... Come on, Mary. The boy wants to play for the Super Eagles. He's beginning to add up the numbers. He's shown quality. He's a young lad. And there's huge prospect. Look at what's been happening in recent times. When English national team noticed that these young players have huge talent, Berecheze and Olise and the race, what do they do? Calm down, let me finish. Calm down, let me finish.
Yeah.
They start stalking them.
Yeah.
Make it difficult for them to make these decisions to switch to the Nigerian national camp. Yes, we know it's still difficult playing for the English national team, but it's not cheap either playing for the Super Eagles.
Why are they stalking them?
Exactly.
Why are they basically
because
stalking them?
They've got quality. They can see the talent.
Definitely.
They see opportunity. A typical Saka could be like this one, having opportunity for the national team.
Statements.
And here this young lad.
Statements.
I just
Are
had.
they stalking Balogun? They're not stalking him.
You never can tell,
No,
Mari.
they're not.
No,
I
come
read
on.
the statements. They're not stalking him.
You never can tell. They don't have to come out in public and say, "Oh."
Mari.
He said in the quotes in the talk that he's had conversations with his agent and the Nigerian national team. Alone.
Because he's made a choice.
Mari.
He's eligible to feature for England.
Which country does he
Yes.
play for,
Here's
as we
the
speak?
point.
Which country does he
He
play
plays for
for?
the English on the 7th.
So what are you talking
On the
about?
21, right?
21 team.
Now, can you, in the last 1 year,
Yeah.
can you talk about players less than 5 that have made that transition from the under 21 to the national team? Countless. Bukayo Saka is one of them. Conor Gallagher very recently.
Yeah.
Now, it takes a big performance. He's on loan at Roms as we speak.
Yeah.
Now, we've sat here countless times and talked about William Saliba,
Yeah.
sent out on loan at Olympique Marseille, Saint-Etienne, but he's come back to Arsenal. He's a mainstay at the national team. You can't bet against William Saliba being on that French plane to the World Cup later this year on performance.
And Balogun, he's an Arsenal draft, right?
Absolutely.
So what are we talking about, Mari? He's performing well. Let me just finish
I'm
this.
taking from perspective.
Let me finish this.
Yeah.
He's playing quite well for his club in the French League.
Yeah.
And now Arsenal, right now, look at Arsenal front line, is Gabriel Jesus
And Eddie Nketiah.
and Ketia, so it's so open. He's performing well. He returns to the club. They give him a mainstay at the club. Gives a good account of himself. Come on, England come looking at the young lad and say, come on, maybe we should give him opportunity.
Yeah, and then Mario
But the
turn
man
back and say,
I want to play for the Super Eagles.
Do you think, right, just to ask that if the English national team comes for this man, he'll simply pick Nigeria?
Well, he's already in line in the English national team.
I think in that particular perspective, it depends on where he wants to play. If he
depends on the
if he
player at
has
the
his
end of the day.
heart set for Nigeria,
Do
and
you
wants to
think,
play for
let me
Nigeria,
ask
I mean,
Mary,
we don't have
do you
to
think the English national team were looking at Alex Iwobi?
Yeah,
Because
they were.
Alex was
They
so
were.
flashy.
Yeah, they
was
were.
playing quite well for Arsenal.
basically.
Come on, at the time.
Yeah.
In fact, the moment Alex made that switch to Nigeria, Arsenal sold him to Everton. What are you telling me? Yeah, it's true.
The Alex Iwobi story was one of the exceptions I wanted to talk about, the exceptions I wanted to talk about, because Alex Iwobi was basically hugely influenced by his uncle, JJ Okocha. But for me, I still maintain that all things being equal, Iwobi will play for the English national
Well,
team.
all things are never equal.
That's the thing. Iwobi made his choice.
Let's take a listen to Folarin himself.
Around new people, new environment, new country, and I'm really enjoying it. I think it was just important that I made the step out my comfort zone, and I'm looking forward to the season ahead.
You had a loan in senior football last year and you played for Arsenal, but how important was it for you this year to go and play regular games for a first team?
Yeah, I think I'm at that age now where it's really important for me to play regularly, and at Middlesbrough it was a bit stop-start. I wasn't playing as much, and I just felt that this season was just important for me to just choose a team where I knew that I was able to play and show what I can do.
We spoke about it off camera, but how's the French coming along?
Yeah, I'm learning French, I'm picking up my French, but I'm just asking questions. If I'm not sure, I'm trying to just learn as much as I can, but yeah, it's definitely not easy.
I saw you got praise from Thierry Henry for taking the loan and going out of your comfort zone. Was that part of the decision?
No, it was more of a decision that I came about myself and my family. It wasn't really something I got advice from outside my family and myself. And yeah, I'm just glad that I was able to do it and just get it over the line. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to it.
And William Saliba, he spent time on loan in France and came back, went straight back into the Arsenal first team. Are you hoping to have a similar sort of impact?
Yeah, I mean, for sure that would be a ideal scenario for me to play well on loan, improve as a player, and then go back into the Arsenal's first team. But I'm aware that it's never going to be easy in football. It's never like as easy as you think it's going to be. So you just got to stay humble and see what happens.
Continue to track that story for you and we'll bring you the latest as it develops. So we're talking about the man who's on loan from Arsenal at French Ligue 1 side, Reims. The Netherlands' 39-man provincial squad ahead of the FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Van der Beek has not played regularly for United this season after returning from loan with Everton, which influenced Netherlands coach Louis van Gaal's decision to drop him. The squad list was announced on the Orange Twitter handle earlier today. Strange decision here. Well, the man has had 19 appearances, scoring 3 times for the Netherlands. It was an important squad member when the Dutch national team reached the final of the 2019 UEFA Nations League, where they lost to Portugal. First name on that team list has to be Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, the man is back in United training. First team training, that is. Looks like with the Ronaldo story, we'll be dragging to Thursday night football. Let's talk about the most important one. Let's talk about the UEFA Champions League, where it is played on Tuesday and Wednesday. That is number 1 in Europe. And when we get to maybe Thursday morning, and then we could talk about what happens on Thursday afternoon and evening, and night. Oh, Solo just mentioned Barca. Could be there at the end of tomorrow.
My problem, right, is what English language does, right? You disrespect somebody and say you don't disrespect to them. You know, it's like, remember when a friend of mine was telling me something and saying, with all due respect, I think you're a fool. You know, so that's what he's doing to Manchester United right now. We don't want to talk about Tuesday and Wednesday, we want to talk about them on Thursday. You know, when that means they're less important and all of that. So it's actually very sad. You know, but the truth remains that the Champions League is stopped.
Well, it's stopping.
With all due respect, Mara, they're playing Thursday night football.
Yeah, but they're playing
with all due respect to them and their fans listening.
That's where the big boys.
With all due respect to you, Solarex, United play Thursday night football.
Proudly.
Proudly.
Yeah.
Well, I never knew it would come to this day when you'd with your full chest.
Yeah.
Gladly accept Thursday night football.
Well, right, that is where the big boys are playing. You can only be a big boy to play.
That's the truth. Barcelona is there. Juventus will be going there.
That's not where the big boys play. Right, stop that nonsense. Stop it. That's not where the big boys play.
That's where the old ladies play.
So if you say
that's where the old ladies
if you say that's where the big boys play, so Man City, Bayern, Real Madrid.
Man City, they are yet to win the Champions League.
Real Madrid.
Maybe
right. Ronaldo and Casemiro have won more than
Real Madrid.
Right.
This is a decision between the ballers and the mechanics.
The UEFA Champions League returns later tonight, guys. Zagreb by 8 p.m. taking AC Milan. In Group F, Celtic shattered the Nats battle in Scotland. Later tonight, RB Leipzig versus Real Madrid are live at the stadium in Germany by 8 p.m. 5:45 p.m. at the Roman Sanchez Pizjuan. In Group G, it's Sevilla versus FC Copenhagen. Borussia Dortmund at Signal Iduna Park by 8 p.m. Welcome Manchester City. It's Benfica versus Juventus at the Stade de la Rouge in Group H. PSG Maccabi Haifa clash in the French capital. Fixtures from the Champions League. We'll talk about team news and a lot more, but now join the conversation. Welcome, football fan. Name and location. Good to have you join us.
Hello, good afternoon, Brian.
Victor, the Sport Oracle.
Good afternoon, Tolerance, and my brother in Arizona. Brian, it's always a great time talking football. has been just in some areas but Nigeria very recently improving in their confidence scoring goals. I want to say always a great moment, right? These players are players that just standing on their own stuff, but when it comes to the country football, we don't see those things in Nigeria with stuff. So you see that Nigerian football is different from the way they grab their street there. So let us try our best for our country football to be matched with their own way of playing there. Since they are our own players, we must invite them. When we look and see what they are doing, so we must help come and do them to their country home. So Champions League is going to be a great league today when Chelsea play against Wolfsburg. Right? And so I believe that Graham Potter must do his best for him to give out the best selection. I wish Chelsea a maximum 3 point comes tonight. Thank you, Father.
Thank you for joining. Welcome, football fan. Name and location.
Yes, when I'm calling from you.
Right, when go ahead, talk to us.
Yes, Mr. Brother, I wish my team, if not tonight with the Richard Dortmund, I think they will be collect 3 points away from them. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Wem, for joining. Welcome, football fan. Name and location. Good to have you join us.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for joining.
It's the tallest on the line.
Mm.
I want to have my take on Folarin Balogun choosing Nigeria at the national team. It's a nice decision that the young man have made by himself, through himself. So he doesn't want to, in future, that is another person pop up in England squad. They dropped him like us that have been doing to other Nigerians. So the guy took a nice decision, and even if he doesn't, even whether he plays well or doesn't play well, you know that they still call him up in Nigerian national team. It's a nice decision for the guy. For championship tonight, I'm looking up to Benfica Juventus. I want Benfica to Juventus so that Juventus, the old ladies, will come and meet the ghost in Europa League. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining. I hope I didn't get the F word. It's on now on radio. Good to have you join us.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Talk to us.
Right. Well, I can't say anything. Continue your program the way you used to run it. Have you sent my message?
Yes. Message sent. No received.
Send my message to Nigeria that politicians should leave Nigerian football. Leave it to ex-footballers. Please, send that message to them. We don't want Agbada in football. We want real football. Westerhoff have already teach us how to go direct by Como and collect something which you want to collect and run sports for us. Get it to hands over. This night, cornerstone will become a stone which is good for building. You yourself, you know what I mean by that. Leave all those ones which is beaten along the bush. How can a retired player, condemned player, to go and play with devil and think that he's something? I'm very happy if Ferran cry and go out because they tell him go out. Don't go. He said he will go. You don't cry.
All right, okay. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate you a great deal. Welcome, football fan. Name and location. All right, it's a drop call situation there. Keep it coming. We're going to take as many as we can. Welcome, football fan. Name and location. Yeah, top gunner.
Good afternoon. Right. Flamingos versus Colombia. Flamingos had the character. Facing Colombia that are physical, scored at 3 goals against Tanzania. I predict a physical game because they are not Americans. Flamingos need to have energy combined with determination and skill. They overrun Colombia. Scotland 2-1. The NFF chairman going to India to monitor the Flamingos. Nice move. But let not be a jamboree. In the Nigerian perspective, sports officials will pack their cronies in a plane and go there under taxpayers' money. Let the officials not go there and bring distraction. Sometimes officials outnumbers players. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, top gunner, for joining. Welcome, football fan. Name and location.
Hello, good evening, boys.
Thank you for joining us.
This is Topsy, the voice of ATR Stadium.
Been a while, Topsy.
Absolutely, has been a while. First, I want to say something about this game coming up this evening in Germany. I'm expecting my team, Man City, to do their absolute best against Borussia Dortmund. In recent years, we know how they play. They want to sit back, soak the pressure, just hurt us and counter. And also looking forward for Man City to make sure they stop Jude Bellingham from scoring, because that man is on form. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. The voice from the Etihad. Welcome, football fan, name location. It's a drop call situation. Salzburg are without a number of players owing to injury and eligibility will bring the leads after now. Welcome, football fan, name and location. Yeah.
I want to reach myself. And then it's
All right.
I want to also reach them.
All right, thank you very much for joining. We appreciate you. Fernando, Dijon Kameri, Umar Diakiti, Justin Morege, Nicholas Capaldo, Seko Koita, Lucas Ocic, Mamadi Diambo, Samson Sejani, Brian Oko, Andras Oma are all injured and out of this particular clash for the host. Welcome, football fan. Name and location.
But Chelsea and Salzburg, Chelsea has a lot of injury worries. To keep players like Sergeant Palabet, Mount, and James, Ngolo Kante, the importance need to put a nice replacement to these key players in order to bring a good result. I wish Chelsea good luck. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Shotgun. I'll be joining the second time. Well, for Chelsea, just 4 players out injured. Welcome, football fan. Name and location. Good to have you join us. No, it's a drop call situation again. Welcome.
Good afternoon to you in the city and every other person there.
Yeah, thank you for joining.
Yeah, Tony, calling in from you. Right, what a way to respect us, Manchester United people. I was just laughing over here, right? But don't be surprised that this is just a kind of a lot of innovation with us sitting in our team. We are coming up bright. I want to assure you by next season we will be playing the Champions League. Away from that, right? I want to quickly say that
The Flamingos.
Flamingos. Yes, my brother. I hope that they should be able to do us proud. Colombia is not very strong compared to the United States of America that they won. They should build on that and go to the final for the first time. I'm not even going to the final. They should bring back the cup. I just believe that the politicians should stay away from those young children now and allow them to play. You understand? They should not intimidate them with any money or promises that may not be able to fulfill. They should allow them play out their heart. That never died spirit in them should work hard wonders for them. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Nigeria, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Tony, for joining. Welcome, football fan. Name and location.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello?
Can hear you. Go ahead. Well, it's a drop call situation. Wesley Fofana and N'Golo Kante remain long-term injury concerns for Chelsea. Khalidou Koulibaly missed the game against United owing to an injury, but may make a return to the squad at least for this one. Reece James will be out for a number of weeks with a knee injury. Well, married to a long list for Salzburg. That could impact this particular fixture.
Yeah, it should, right? Definitely, because there's a lot, a few of the key players out, and they'll just be banking on, just a few young stars who've been putting up performances in the domestic league to get them to the line. But I'm expecting a good game, from them, despite their injury worries, because they are that kind of team that could put up a stunner later today. They played draw against Chelsea, and that was Potter's first game in charge of Chelsea some weeks back. I'm expecting a good performance from them, and then Chelsea should also bounce back, because the draw against United felt like a loss to a lot of Chelsea fans because they dominated that game. And just a few minutes to the end of the game, Casemiro happened to them. So I'm expecting a response from Chelsea.
No, they didn't dominate the game.
Yeah, well, they were leading, rather. They were leading, just 3 minutes to the end of time, and then Casemiro happened and all of that. So I'm looking forward to how Chelsea responds to all of that from the weekend, get to win later today. But I think Salzburg will put up a fight performance. Even if they go down, it will be a very strong fight.
Right. Let's talk about Benfica, Juventus after now. Blyden, welcome. Football fan, name and location.
This is Alam, a.k.a. Man City Chairman now.
Nice.
I'm having fans now because I can listen to the radio and get new fans coming in. So I have to take myself higher before it's too late. I want to wish my team, Man City, good luck because I know surely we are going to come out with 3 points. That's why Alan going to visit his former team. We are going to win. That Chelsea match, I see shocking results. And also, beating Barcelona after Lewandowski going there. They are still going to down league. So I pray for them. God should help them. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you very much, Bayosa Man, a.k.a. Haaland, a.k.a. Man City chairman. Calvin Phillips, Kyle Walker out for Manchester City, Matthew Morey, Jamie Butno-Gittens, Luca Ombagen, Marco Reus, Thomas Munier, Salah Oskan, and Doyen Marlin are all out for Borussia Dortmund. Benfica Juventus, this looks delicately poised for a potential banana skin.
Surely, for me, I think it's the biggest game tonight. Biggest game in terms of what it stands for. If Juventus get a result against Benfica, they keep their stay in the Champions League, still make it open. But on the other hand, Benfica has been in super form, 8 points so far at pace, second position in that group with Paris Saint-Germain. And it speaks volume about the side, especially knowing fully well Paris Saint-Germain has not been able to beat Benfica in this competition. They've not lost any game yet. Fantastic side. And they'll be up to take Juventus to the cleaners, but it's going to be quite tight because I expect the old ladies to give a fight, at least a final fight in the last round of this competition to see if they can improve their stay, their points in that group, and hope to qualify in the coming games.
Morato is the only player missing, coincidentally, for Benfica, but for Juventus, it's a long list. Paul Pogba, Matteo Deschilio, Maleake, Angel Di Maria, Brema, Leandro Paredes, and Federico Chiesa.
Yeah. Well, Brighton failed to win against Dynamo FC Copenhagen in that particular game. So I think, they've qualified already. I think the next, concentration has to be, seeing if they can pick up points in the league as a bit. This Guardiola who loves to win every single game. It was a feel-good factor for him going back to where it all started for him. But I still think Borussia Dortmund will come out, fuming. They want to win this particular game because they know what it takes. They also want to qualify also and see how they can play better opponents in the next round of this competition. So it's going to be another exciting game after the Benfica Juventus game. So we'll see how it pans out, right?
Right now, RB Leipzig taking Real Madrid, and the Los Blancos have already qualified for the next round of the competition. Well, you expect some wholesale changes from Carlo Ancelotti's side, who are still unbeaten. Competitions domestically, even in Europe, where they're defending champions on both fronts. Those changes, what did they do to Real Madrid in Germany later tonight?
I expect some changes to come in to some players who have not got the opportunity, given that they have already qualified to the next round of the competition. But I think the likes of Karim Benzema will not also be traveling. Valverde is not also available. Dani Ceballos is also unavailable.
Missing
alongside
Luka Modric.
Mariano Diaz is also unavailable, and this is a chance for other players to also come in and fill the void of these players. From there, I think a player can come in and prove a point.
Eden Hazard is one of them.
And be getting regular playing time. This is also a platform for players to also impress the coach. But I think despite the unavailability of these names, Real Madrid will not really find themselves wanting. And returning home with at least a point is not something far-fetched from Carlo Ancelotti's men.
All right, we'll talk more after now. Let's continue the phone lines. Mari, Facebook in a bit. Welcome, football fan. Name and location.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bright.
Thank you, Wem, for rejoining. 25 seconds.
Thank you very much. I think I want to let Guardiola know it's about that Borussia Dortmund, because we are going away to make sure Borussia Dortmund is going to be qualifying. No matter how we have been qualifying, said that we're going to the next round like a knockout game. We need to arrest that team.
Thank you very much, Wem, for joining. Appreciate you. Welcome, football fan. Name and location.
Good afternoon, Mr. Group.
Yeah.
I'm calling from Ghana. I want to wish the Flamingos tomorrow a very good outing. But I want to say that the coach
in his own capacity, should be very, very skillful, very, very tactical. He takes a change where and when necessary. And he should not go and sit down and fold his hand. He should stand by the side and then motivate these players, let them know what to do. If these are being combined, Colombia is a team to beat. And if we beat Colombia, we have broken a record and proceed to final. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. Right.
I think Chelsea losing today by 1-0.
Chelsea losing today by a goal to nil. Thank you very much for joining, Mari. Take us to Facebook. Let's have a bite of the comment from there very quickly.
All right, so begin with sports page, right? Kevin Yumi says, good afternoon, sports crew. I wish my team Chelsea good luck today. As for Europa, that's where the big boys play. Ito Wilkins says, good afternoon, sports crew. I wish my darling team Chelsea best of luck in tonight's game. Kudos to them. And Yeti again says, I can't wait to enjoy since late matches again and what a night it is going to be. Man United don't know why they're missing Ronaldo until release them in January and their eyes will open. They are toying with the dynamite. Joseph Subero, finally from the live feed, from the sports page, says Eric Ten Hag might be doing the right things at United, but he hasn't managed Ronaldo well. A player with the hunger and talents of Ronaldo should not be kept out this long, except there is more than we are told in the media. Let's head to the live feed, Bright, and also take a comment from the 5 comments from the live feed. Daniel Stanley says today Chelsea will face a tough war with Salzburg. Also, Francis Namani says, as for the Flamingos, they will squaring up against the Colombian counterparts tomorrow. I'm wishing them the best of luck. So Barry also made a comment on the live feed saying the Flamingos must now stay focused, compact, resolute, and fight together to make the final. Beating USA certainly means they're a contender. This is not a time to be selfish or make mistakes. Chances will come and they must be buried. I see them winning 2-1. Ibana Udoekbe says, I wish our girls, both Flamingos and Barca Queens, successful outing with maximum results. Please, when we last not play the next game. And finally, from the live feed, Ubi Akang saying Alex Iwobi is officially the best passer of the ball in the Premier League tonight. Chelsea to win. Brazil team to watch in the World Cup next month. Of Neymar Jr.
Right. Thank you very much for joining. Now let's talk about men's football in Europe. Unai Emery, nearly 3 years since his sacking by Arsenal, is back in the Premier League this time with Aston Villa. Now, he could have returned last November when he received an offer from Newcastle following the departure of Steve Bruce, though he turned that down. Newcastle, new project. Does it now make sense that a couple of months later, it takes a job at Aston Villa?
I think it's a good thing on his path, coming back to the league that he has had some stings while he was with Arsenal. He left in 2020 to join Villarreal. But during his days in Arsenal, I think he also brought some young talents to limelight, the likes of Smith Rowe, Bukayo Saka, I think, and the likes of Gabriel Martinelli and the rest of them. He tried his best, though I think Arsenal was somehow too sophisticated for him to really make an impact that stood a test of time. But in Villarreal, he also did his best. I think he won them Europa League, beating Manchester United. I think that was in 2020. But now coming back to Premier League, he has a blueprint. But I think his blueprint should also match with the template that will contain the terms of reference that will be given to him to operate. Because if this man must do well, I think Aston Villa must really be patient. He must be given the time. But I think as far as that particular job is concerned, he has a lot to offer. But refusing to take the job that was given to him in November by Newcastle, I think he will always regret looking at what Eddie Howe came in and did for Newcastle United. Look at where they are now, being the first manager to take the team, occupying 19th position in the league, losing 11 straight games to take them away from relegation for the first time. I think Unai Emery will always envy that particular achievement by Eddie Howe.
All right, now, Blyden, is it safe to say Eddie Howe, with all the exploits in Europe with Sevilla and Villarreal in the UEFA Europa League, Is he a mid-table manager?
Well, I wouldn't want to say so. Remember, in the morning, we talked about the pressure. We talked about the things that's surrounding him. For me, I don't think he's a mid-table manager. I think you look at it from all the clubs he's gone around. I was listening to him talk about Arsenal and Unai Emery. I think since after Arsene Wenger, he's been their best manager. Took Arsenal to fifth position the first season he had. Took them to the finals of the Europa League.
Since Arsene Wenger, before Mikel Arteta.
Mikel hasn't really done much yet.
Absolutely.
We only see a pointer. We've not known where the full-blown Arsenal would end.
The top of the table.
The top of the table, but it's not a trophy yet. Until he's won a trophy, then we can now say Mikel Arteta has been the best manager after Arsene Wenger. But for now, Mikel Arteta is a process. Unai Emery, is he a mid-table coach? I do not think so. I understand that he's also struggled with big clubs. There were big, huge demand from Paris Saint-Germain when he was there. Won the league with Paris Saint-Germain. Couldn't take them to the Champions League victory. I do not think he's a mid-table coach. I think he's just trying new things.
Right, Jude Bellingham would definitely grab the headlines tonight at the Signal Iduna Park. He's been in good goal-scoring form, so look out for that lad. Or maybe I should say, Jurgen Klopp, look out for that lad. Thank you, Emmanuel Det, for joining. Thank you very much, High Chief Blind Kim. Thank you, Marizona. And thank you, Sorex, for joining.
Happy birthday to Ama Marcus.
Yeah.
You have my very best
you missed
wishes.
it. Happy birthday, Ama John Marcus. You have my best
Nice.
wishes. And happy birthday, Cindy Godwin. Best wishes always. For everyone celebrating, you have my best wishes. Up next is the news updated for Noella Bryce. James, you know I'm out, yeah?